All right, folks, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get the show on the road. All right, hey, and welcome everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. We want to welcome you all to the show this morning. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning. That's starting out here in Las Vegas. It's a little bit breezy, but it's all good. For those of you, this might be your first time joining us. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine, where we come to you Monday through Friday, talking about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. And have we got some stuff to talk to you about especially that happened between yesterday and today. Have you ever lived in a place where things just happen all the time? I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, or maybe it does. Every single day, something is going on in Las Vegas. And yesterday, it was the same thing. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we go on. But before we get going, I want to welcome all of our friends on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that kind of stuff. If you're on our YouTube channel and you're checking this out, you might be on a little tape delay. But I really encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, you're watching us on our YouTube channel, and I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to it. And there's a notification that if you get on our notification, you'll find out every time we upload our YouTube video. So that way you don't have to wait around, because there's nothing worse than waiting around for a video when it's already out. And so, and if you're on Facebook, you're watching us on either the Livin in Vegas page or even on our Livin Weekly page. I really encourage you, if you have not joined those pages or, liked those pages, do it now. Just take the time, and it's really easy to do. Just go ahead and like the page, especially if you're on like our Livin Weekly page or our Livin in Vegas page, and just go ahead and like those pages. It makes me feel better. Just makes me feel makes me feel better, and so that's what it's really all about, making me feel better. I talk more, I perform better if I know people are liking what we're doing. Say hello. Don't just kind of check me out, unless you're. But say something. Say hey, how you doing? Sure. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Aviators today, and we'll end up with a really feel good story. I mean, there's a feel good story you're going to want to hear at the end. It only happens here in Vegas with all the stuff that's going on in the world. You need a feel-good story. You really do. You need a story that tells you about all of the cool stuff that just tells you about people. Okay. Anyway, before we get started, have you been to our website yet at livinvegas.com? No, because our magazine. Oh, I better turn off the sound on this because people are talking to me already. On Facebook, and thank you. Good morning to you. It looks like Mark Schaefer, who's up early this morning, is reaching out to me really early this morning. If you go onto our website, livinvegas.com, you can actually download the current issue of Livin in Vegas magazine. On the front cover are Kristen and Greg Berta, and they are just the fantastic couple. They're the franchise owners of Junk Luggers, which has a really interesting story. You got to read about it. It's really cool in the magazine. Definitely want to check that out. Also in the magazine, there's stories about. There's a story by Robin Campbell Ochita, and she joined the team the last few weeks ago, and has a story about Henderson, which is real cool. And so, and you might ask, well, if we're living in Vegas, why are we doing a story about Henderson? Well, because we consider Henderson part of Las Vegas, just like we consider the Strip. The Strip is actually not in Las Vegas; it's actually outside of Las Vegas, but we consider them a part of Las Vegas. And you cannot separate Las Vegas and the Strip. We just tend to focus on Las Vegas and businesses in Las Vegas. So that's but Robin wrote a story about Henderson Water Street specifically, which is real cool. And so we want to give her a shout out. She's a great writer. We also brought on with us just recently Shelley Stepanek, and Shelley is going to be writing a couple of columns for us. Hopefully, she'll be contributing a lot to us about the food in Las Vegas because she's out doing the foodie thing all the time. And also, we were talking about Audrey May. So Audrey May, if you guys come out to our let's talk about that right now. If you come out to our mixer, and our mixer is actually Thursday, so it's tomorrow. So Thursday we're having a mixer over at the Horse Trailer Hideout, 1506 South Main Street. Starts about 5:30, and it should be really fun. I'm looking really forward to the mixer that we're going to have. You can actually meet Audrey May. So many of you have heard me speak about Audrey, and Audrey is one of the lead, folks for an organization called Beers with Friends. They're a co-sponsor of all of our happy hours because she's got great relationships with the craft brew folks, and we consider her and Mr. Shapiro and the folks at Beers with Friends experts in the field of brew meistery. Okay, just putting it there. So we consider, and you'll get to meet her. You'll get to meet Nap Sugar and Gilda Graham. Come on out tomorrow, folks. So come on out to the event. You can register for it online via Eventbrite. You can check that out, which is really cool. And we really encourage you, folks, if you have not registered for any of our events, please do, because you will have fun. Okay? So we'll be back in just a second. I'm going to have a little pause for the cause here. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, that was a very cool promo there. Yeah, so if you'd like to help us with Livin in Vegas magazine, you'd like to be in the magazine or on our new magazine that we've got out called Livin Weekly, we would really encourage you to do that, especially if you want to be an underwriter for the podcast. Send us your request at advertising@livininvegas.com, and you can check that out. We'd have the girls talk to you and everything else like that too. Let's get on with some of the stories that we've got to talk about today, because a lot of stuff happened. Hopefully you were with us yesterday because we talked about the Aviators. Well, the Aviators played last night. They played against Reno last night, the Reno Aces last night. Oh, it was it was a tough game. My gosh, it was a tough game. It was 2-2 with the Aviators, and so many of you know who the Aviators are. If not, I'll let you know. The Aviators are the minor league team for the San Diego Padres. They were, years ago, they were the Las Vegas Stars, then they became the 51s, and now they're the Las Vegas Aviators, and they've got a really state-of-the-art ballpark over in Summerlin. Go up Charleston and hang a left over there on Pavilion Center. You'll run right into it, the ballpark. How do I know? Well, I used to live right down the street from it. We watched the thing being built for a couple of years. The Aviators played against the Reno Aces last night. And it didn't start off well at all. I'll tell you, I watched most of the game. I watched it up until the 8th inning, something like that, and I had to get some sleep. I'm old. Getting old. So I was listening to my buddy Russ, and Russ Langer, who is the voice of the Aviators. Listened to him for the whole time, and I was like going, "Go, Russ. You sound so good." He's been the voice of the Aviators for years. So, back to the game. Aviators were tied up the game in the fourth, fourth inning. And when they tied it up, it was 2-2 forever. Seventh inning stretch, it's 2-2. Eighth inning comes along, and guess what? That's right. The Aviators get a run. We end up winning the game 3-2. Tough game. Tough game. The Aces, the Reno Aces had great pitching. They looked good the entire game, but they couldn't overcome the boys. So it was very nice. The Aviators open up their home opener with a win. They're going to have 6 games this home opener of this series. So, and we're going to actually get out there because my wife and I were watching the game last night at home. You can actually watch it on TV. And she goes, "I want to go to the games." And I said, "Well, you're going to the game, baby," because I was gonna take her to the game last night, but I got busy during the day and didn't get tickets for it. So we're very excited that I'm so excited she wants to go. And I said, "Honey, I'll get tickets." She goes, "Just get tickets and we'll go." And we can't go Thursday though, so don't expect me there on Thursday. I'm not going to be at the game because we're going to be at our event. So we've got a mixer on Thursday, so we won't be there at the game. Also, the Rebels won last night. Yeah, the Rebels baseball team. They played against the Highlanders. Who were they from? Where's the Highlanders from? UC Davis? UC Riverside. Yeah, UC Riverside. Beat them 12-1. Yeah, baby. Ooh. Smoked them 12-1. Very cool. Tickets are very affordable over for the Rebel baseball game. I remember when the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces, not the Reno Aces. Okay, we're going to separate the two. There's the Reno Aces, play for Reno, who we just beat. They play baseball. The Las Vegas Aces, women's basketball. Okay. When they first started playing over at Mandalay Bay, I believe they played at Mandalay Bay. Their season tickets were like $10. And it was super cheap. It was like $100. I think it was, and you get on Gucci Row for like $12 or whatever it is, and nobody watched their games. Now, of course, the Aces are like, they're all world and stuff now. But at the time, you couldn't get you could get tickets. Now it's getting a little tougher. We are at the same place with the men's baseball and girls softball for sure. And girls softball is just off the chain. They're doing fantastic. But so the Rebels won, which is great. Very excited for them that they're actually able to win the game. And and I believe coming up tonight, who's it tonight? So we got a couple of games coming up really quick. The Vegas Golden Knights are playing tonight. So if you're a Vegas Golden Knights fan, we're on a 5-game winning streak right now, folks. We're on cruise control. If we just keep winning, we're making the playoffs with the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Vegas Nighthawks just won. We talked about that yesterday. They beat the Bay Area Panthers just over the 4th. And so they've got a game coming up the 8th. Is their next game? Yeah, the next game is the 8th. They'll play against Arizona. And that's our indoor football league. So very excited about what's going on sports-wise. So let's keep talking about sports, okay? Let's just keep talking. I know. So many of you know the Oakland A's have been trying to decide whether or not they're actually going to be here in Las Vegas. And so in Oakland, they are having a problem. And the problem is that the people in Oakland don't appreciate them as much as we could. So right now, I read an article just recently that they're being sued by the city of Oakland, I believe. Yeah, I think they're being sued by. They got started getting sued this past Friday, I believe by the city of Oakland, and over whether or not they're going to be able to build a stadium on their waterfront over there. The city of Oakland doesn't want them to build a $1 billion stadium. Think how many jobs that is. That's amazing. So, what does that do for the city of Las Vegas? Well, it puts us one step closer to having the Oakland A's, which will become the Las Vegas Athletics, here in the city of Las Vegas. According to reports, the is it the president? The president of the Oakland A's, Dave Cavall, says that he's going to let everybody know by May, sometime in May, whether or not it's going to happen. And so he says, yeah, we're looking at property here in Vegas. Now, this is the fifth piece of property that they have gotten some kind of movement on, whether or not they're going to buy it or not. So here's the deal with the Raiders. It's not the Raiders, but the A's. They want to go someplace. Las Vegas is now the sports entertainment capital of the world. We are already the entertainment capital of the world because we've got every show that there is and every headliner that there is. With the Vegas Golden Knights, the Raiders, Aces, Aviators, all the teams we've got here, all of a sudden now we become the sports capital of the world. We bring in the A's, lights are out, folks. There is nothing that can stop us. The only thing that can stop us right now is a big old sinkhole opens up and it swallows the whole city. That's really pretty much it, because we've got so much going on here. It's crazy. With the new Allegiant Stadium, there's a proposed stadium that's going to go in the southern end of the valley. Think how many acres it was. It was 25 acres, I think they bought. 35 acres they just bought. And they're proposing a new sports arena complex where they're probably going to bring the soccer team, the MSL, Major League Soccer team is going to probably go down there. Definitely going to be a train station that's going to be down in that area. So we are poised to get just some crazy things here, and this is probably the best time in the world to be in Las Vegas. So I just don't know what else to say. It's crazy how much stuff is going on here. But the Oakland A's, they said the A's might be, they're that much closer to us. So we'll find out next month. We'll report on it. And I want to go. Okay, let's move this direction because I've got other stories I want to tell you about, folks. And because I talk so much, it's just ridiculous. If you are not on our mailing list, I really want to encourage you right now. If you're not on our mailing list, I really encourage you to get on our mailing list. And the reason why is because a lot of the stuff that we talk about here on the show, you will probably we talk so much. I talk so much, and you can get on our mailing list. And if you do get on our mailing list, you will actually be able to get all of these stories, especially the new Las Vegas Weekly or Livin Weekly. You'll actually get that on a weekly basis. So that way you can keep up with everything. Because a lot of stuff that I've got in front of me here on my stack of stuff on my board and computers and everything else, I don't get to it because I just talk so much. Ask my wife. She knows. Ask my wife. She knows. So get on our mailing list. Just send me an email at info@livininvegas.com. You'll get updates. You'll get invites to all the stuff that we do. And we've got a lot of stuff coming on. You'll find out about opportunities that are happening here with Livin in Vegas, Livin Weekly, which we have not even mentioned yet. You'll actually get to hear all about that as a part of just being on our mailing list. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's talk about Livin Weekly real quick. So Livin Weekly magazine is our new weekly magazine that we're producing. It'll be out this week. So if you're on our mailing list, you'll actually get that. You can still send me. You can send a note to, or send me an inquiry to info@livininvegas, or you can send it to our other email at info@livinweekly.com. So info@livinweekly. Just add Livin Weekly as opposed to Livin in Vegas, and you can actually get to that. And you'll get on that mailing list. You'll actually get this in your inbox. Okay, so you won't have to go looking for it. You can go on the website, of course, livinweekly.com, but just send me your information to info at Livin in Vegas, and it'll be all cool. So I'm looking really forward to that. We just got Stephanie, Shelly Stepanek will be in the Livin Weekly. There'll be articles on restaurants, lifestyle, sports, that kind of stuff. Anything that's happening during the week, folks, you will actually get it in Livin Weekly. Because a lot of people don't like to wait. They just don't want to wait for the magazine, or they want to be updated all the time, which is really cool. So we're very excited about Livin Weekly magazine. There was so. Do we have time? Yeah, we're gonna have time. Okay, there's a couple of stories I want to get to. Let's get to. There was a couple that. No, let's not do that one. Downtown Las Vegas. So downtown Las Vegas has just announced their 2022 free Downtown Rocks concert series. And if you've not seen Downtown Rocks, folks, you've missed something. This is pretty interesting. So they got a stage all set up down there, and you can actually check out these free concerts that are down there. They've got bands. The fun begins actually April 23rd, so Saturday. They're going to have Parmalee is going to be there. They'll be on the 3rd Street stage starting about 9 p.m. They'll also have bands like X Ambassadors, Simple Plan, The Pretty Reckless, and past folks that have been there, I'll tell you, they've had some really cool bands there. We will leave a link to all of these bands. So you can actually, if you want to find out who all the bands are and stuff like that, we'll put it on our website at livinvegas.com. Okay, so you can actually check this out. And if you've not been to our website in a while, it changes pretty much every day. So we're updating it, making it look cleaner, making it look more exciting. And so we really encourage you to go to our website at livinvegas.com. You can check out all of the cool stuff that we have there. And I think you'll really like that. Let's talk a little bit about the Raiders. Many of you know who this guy is. This guy is Nick Mullins. And so Nick Mullins just got signed with the Raiders. Yeah, I know. Pretty cool. So Nick Mullins has played for a few teams. They brought him in to be the backup quarterback for Derek Carr. He's made 17 starts with the San Francisco 49ers, Cleveland Browns. Since he signed as a undrafted free agent in 2017. So he's going to bring a little bit of experience. He's a bad boy, which is very cool. We're very excited about having him on the team. And the Raiders always need somebody to back up Derek Carr, especially since Marcus Mariota left in free agency. I know a lot of my friends are upset that Marcus left, especially the Hawaiian connection. My friend Troy, he's really upset. He owns High Coffee Roasters over in they're just in the Green Valley area. But Troy's Hawaiian. He loved Marcus. He had him over at his coffee shop, that kind of stuff. And when he left, it was like pulled his heart out of his chest. It was so terrible. I know it's. Hey, there was a list that was developed by the Las Vegas Global Alliance. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, and they released a list of the top 20 positions in demand in Southern Nevada. Yeah, the top 20 positions that are most in demand in Las Vegas, and we'll leave a list of all these jobs, but there are some really cool ones. So I'll just give you a kind of a rundown of a few of them. So maybe if you're thinking about getting a new job, if you're really thinking about retraining, you've come out of the pandemic, and you've said, "Hey, look, I used to work at the casinos. I got laid off. They were supposed to hire me back. They didn't." That kind of stuff, and you're thinking about retraining. Okay, there are some jobs that are definitely going to be outsourced. They're going to be gone. It is what it is. Robotics. If you've been watching us for any length of time, you know robots are coming in and they're going to control the world. So, but if you listen to us, you'll save yourself some trouble of trying to find 4 or 5 jobs, especially. You get 50 years of age and now you're going to have a new job. All right, so So I'll give you the top 5 jobs that are in demand coming up for Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. Okay, coming in at number 5, a veterinarian. Very cool. Actually, any doctor's job is pretty much in demand. So, a veterinarian's job, managers um, of all kinds of managers, and they're really needing leadership position people who are going to be leading the charge. So, if you've got those skills, number 3, a civil engineer. Okay, uh, you would think we've got here in Las Vegas. What do we need civil engineers for? We're growing, folks. There's no doubt about it. I believe that according to the 2045 plan, we are looking to have about 500,000 more people in the valley. I know, right? We got a lot of people as it is, and so they're going to be building stuff, all kinds of infrastructure, rebuilding. You need civil engineers. Number 2, software developers, systems software. Okay, so software developers, people who do system software, and I think a lot of this stuff is because we've got we. So many of you probably know this already, but if you don't and you're not aware of this, we here in Las Vegas have some of the most technical positions that there are in the world here. One of them is at a place called Switch, and Switch is a data warehouse. And so if you have credit cards, you have all that kind of stuff. It is probably all the data is probably housed over at Switch. And so we have a need for people, and people come in there and they try to hack those systems. So we need people to protect those things. And the number one job that they say on this list, and maybe it may not be in correct order, but this is what they're saying: the top job that they're looking for: software developers in applications. And so it seems like a lot of the industry is going towards applications that they're being developed for all kinds of things. I mean, there's all kinds of things that they're looking for. So very cool. And so we'll leave this complete list or a link to it on our website at livininvegas.com. You can actually check that out, which is very cool. So I'm going to give you the feel good story, folks, because this is probably the feel good story of the day. Back in how do you want to set up this story? Just recently, so I'll read part of the article. This is Channel 13 actually came up with this story. I love this story. 38-year-old Will Bushell excelled during his time as a Navy SEAL. His dad lives in Florida, says Will enlisted in the Navy right out of high school. He said he wasn't ready for college, and they were all disappointed, but he did really well in the SEALs. Well, he lost his life in a car crash in 2014. That's a kind of a bummer. So Will died, but all of his stuff that he had, they put in. Even though Will's died, though, his life continues by a weird story, a weird set of circumstances that allowed for his life to continue. There was a shadow box that was made, and it came up for sale at a weekend swap meet. Okay, so many of you know what a shadow box is. A shadow box is basically, just a box or like a picture frame, and you put stuff in it, and it's got a glass cover, so you can actually see what's inside the contents of the box. Guess what was inside the shadow box? Yeah, inside the box was combat uniform, medals that were worn by Will. Okay, so somebody made this shadow box it was up for sale at a swap meet, and a guy by the name of Fernando Gonzalez saw it, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't come here to buy a shadow box. I want that shadow box." He bought the shadow box, and because he himself was a Navy SEAL, so he knew the importance of this Navy SEAL's Will's shadow box, and he bought it for $150. It took him a couple of hours to find the family who lives here in Vegas, and he returned the shadow box to this family. Isn't that amazing? What an amazing story. He said, no, I'm not taking anything for it. I understand the gravity of this and how important it is that this box not be sold at some swap meet, but it be returned to the family of this guy. Fernando, brother, you did a job. We will leave a link to this story. It was a fantastic story. We'll leave a link to it on our website because this brother deserves a pat on the back. He did such a great job in returning this for this family. Okay. Anyways, folks, we will be back tomorrow with another thrilling edition of Livin in Vegas podcast, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. I want to thank you folks for being a part of the show. This has been Sherman Ray. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.